We are now at the point of telling his story. You've listened to your story. You've told them my story. And now you're ready to talk about his story. As you listen to your story, they seem to focus on fear, how afraid they were. Um, Once you heard that, you knew that you had to tell them that Jesus died for that fear. So you might take them to 2 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4. Although Jesus was crucified in weakness, he now lives by the power of God. We too are weak, just as Christ was. But when we deal with you, we will be alive in him and we'll have God's power. Here, Paul simply says that we are weak, but he died to make us strong. Now, after that verse, you can take them to Acts 1:8. Remember to write Acts 1:8 in the margin at 2 Corinthians 13:4. Acts 1:8 is that beautiful passage where Jesus says, you will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes on you, and you'll be my witnesses, telling people about me everywhere in Judea, in Jerusalem, throughout Judea, in Samaria, and to the ends of the earth. Just focus on that quick little expression, you'll receive power. Jesus wants to give you power. And then take them to 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verses 42 and 43. There, it's the same way with the resurrection of the dead. Our earthly bodies are planted in the ground when we die, will be buried, will be raised to live forever. Our bodies are buried in brokenness. They'll be raised in glory. They are buried in weakness. They'll be raised in strength. This is what Jesus died to do for us, to give us strength in the middle of our fear. Ask them if they want to get rid of that fear, and if they say yes, lead them in a simple prayer in which they recognize how they have lived apart from God, and in living apart from God have become frightened at what's going on around them. Let them confess their fear to God. Then lead them in a prayer in which they recognize that Christ died to take away that fear and instead give them power. Then lead them in a prayer in which they thank God for that power. And they ask God to help them to live rejecting the fear of the past and embracing the power that God has given them to live a new life. In the next video, we'll look at a narrative that communicates that very same reality.